This is the news leader. Channel 7 Eyewitness News at 11.
And the foreman shall be last.
¡Viva Chile, mierda!
It once seemed so improbable, but tonight, 33 men trapped for 10 weeks in a collapsed mine are out and alive. A monumental event and technological marvel, not just for the people of Chile, but for the greater global village. The whole world was indeed watching. But now that they're out, what happens to them now?
And good evening, everyone, at 11 o'clock. I'm Bill Renner.
And I'm Liz Joe, and it took less than 23 hours for all of the miners to emerge, far faster than anyone had predicted. But tonight, it is not over yet. This is what the site of the mine in Chile looks like right now. One rescuer right now who helped pull the men from the Phoenix capsule remains underground. Another is on his way up and should emerge any moment now. We will show it to you. As it happens, you can see all the workers right now anxiously waiting for that rescuer to come up. But tonight, this excruciating ordeal is over for those 33 miners, capping one of the most dramatic survival stories in recent history. We have several reports. We begin tonight with Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan. He's in the newsroom. Jim.
Liz, this remarkable story of heroism and human endurance, the inspirational story of men pushed to their limit and beyond, is ending tonight with success unimaginable 10 weeks ago. Consider this. They were trapped so deep beneath the surface, you could pile the Empire State Building on top of the Chrysler Building and you'd still have a whole lot of digging to do. It wasn't so much a mine as a grave, and guess what? They're out of there. For the last rescue workers still below the surface, the Chilean mine that held 33 men captive, the mine that once promised to become their tomb, must seem eerily empty tonight, and joyously, rapturously silent. A half a mile above, rescue workers never stopped. Tonight, they pulled the last miner through the rock and the copper and the coal and a half a mile of earth toward freedom. And there it was, the light that was the surface. At 8:55 Eastern Time, the rescue capsule carrying mine foreman Luis Urzúa arrived. And as all the others had before him, he emerged from the darkness, a Chilean flag draped over his shoulder, a full life ahead of him. The light on Urzúa's mining helmet was still on as he hugged Chile's President Sebastián Piñera. From our heads to our hearts, Piñera said, we had strength and spirit to fight for these men and their families.
¡Viva Chile, mierda!
It was rescue on a heroic, never-before-attempted scale, and it took the world to do it. A Canadian oil drill to dig the hole, U.S. drill operators and know-how from NASA, a special cable from Germany to prevent the pod from spinning during ascent. Argentina and Spain and South Africa all contributed, and man did it work. One by one, the men were reunited with their families on the surface. The weeks of waiting and wondering and fearing the worst mercifully ended. And one by one, the men brought to a local hospital for medical screening. One miner had pneumonia. Many had dental issues and eye ulcers. All are safe, and the world shared the joy of it.
Tears they shed after so much time apart expressed not only their own relief, not only their own joy, but the joy of people everywhere.
Mario Sepulveda cheered on the crowd and brought gifts from below to the rescue workers. Shopping being what it is, half a mile below ground, the gifts were rocks. No one really complained. Most miners, when they returned to the ground, blessed themselves and prayed. Doctors are reporting some depression among some of the miners, hardly surprising given their 2-month-long ordeal. They will spend a couple of days in the hospital before being allowed to go home, at which point, well, there'll be men with options. Remarkably, several have already told doctors and rescue workers they want to go back into mining. Bill?
Remarkable and surprising indeed. Jim, thank you. You're seeing the picture as we wait for the second to last rescue worker to be hoisted up. We'll bring it to you when it happens. Such a triumph, as Jim said, of the human spirit and a victory over a horrible man-made disaster. Pride for Chile and for Chilean Americans in this country, including thousands in our area. Chilean restaurants transformed into screening rooms to watch this saga unfold. Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Pegues at a Chilean restaurant in Midtown with that part of our coverage. Jeffrey?
And Bill, the celebration here continues. You can see that behind me. I got to watch my feet because they're dancing around. But they've been celebrating since the last miner was rescued about 2 hours ago, and this is the type of celebration that might be going on for some time. At last, with the 33rd miner lifted to the surface, the 69-day ordeal is over. And the celebration now begins for the miners and local Chilean nationals who've been following almost every moment of this dramatic rescue.
I'm wishing the best for them.
At the Pomer, a Chilean restaurant in Midtown, for 2 days, people have been gathering to watch the rescue unfold, waving and wrapping themselves in the Chilean flag.
Right now, I feel so proud about my country. I think it's the best.
And they are thrilled to see that their miracle miners are safe. Tears of joy for this happy ending.
To see the last run what's out for us is like, we are so happy.
What an emotional roller coaster for Chilean Americans who've been following this ordeal. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. You are looking at live pictures right now in our double box. That is one of the rescuers who has just emerged from the mine. He has made it up. There is just now one rescuer who's left underground. And then all of the miners and all of the rescuers will be above ground. We are continuing to watch this as it unfolds in Chile. Clearly, all the workers are extremely happy to see their men back on ground. Well, tonight, all of the miners are at the hospital and are being checked out by a Chilean medical team. Doctors say one of the miners is suffering from pneumonia and will most likely remain in the hospital through the weekend. 2 others will need to undergo minor dental surgery. And while they all appear to be in remarkably good health, there are some medical concerns. For example, lung function. Doctors will listen for signs of asthma made worse by stress, poor nutrition, or low oxygen in the mine. Medics will also monitor the miner's heart rate and blood pressure. And doctors are also worried about depression and post-traumatic stress, which could set in while the miners try to readjust to life above ground.
Simply amazing. This rescue, the whole thing, exceeding expectations. First, finding the miners alive, and then remember the initial estimate was a rescue by Christmas.
This entire 2-month ordeal tonight transformed into an enormous sense of pride for the people of Chile. ABC's Diana Alvear was on the air with us last night when the first miner emerged. She joins us again tonight from Chile. And Diana, what was it like when the last miner finally made it to the surface tonight?
You know, Liz, I think it was just as momentous as it was when we saw the first miner make it to the surface. I mean, there were just chills up my spine. Everybody was beside themselves. I saw a lot of people weeping openly because it was just such a momentous experience to know that all 33 miners were finally safe. You know, again, I'll say what a difference 24 hours makes. This rescue effort was just starting yesterday around this time, and then all of a sudden we saw Florencia Avalos come out of that mine. And, you know, it was at that point, I think, that a lot of the families here, the families of the miners, breathed a collective sigh of relief. They thought, oh my goodness, it really is going to work. And I talked to a lot of those mining families today, and they said, you know, they went from feeling a sense of anxiety to feeling tranquila, you know, a sense of calm in their hearts. And they said they knew that their loved ones were going to be okay. And that's exactly what we saw here. It was a pitch-perfect mission. We couldn't be more proud of their efforts.
Well, Diana, we want to thank you for your coverage the last 24 hours for all the ABC stations, and especially for us. You were on the air with us. And when you said last night that you were half Chilean, I think it really moved a lot of people, and we know this has meant so much to you. Diana Alvear done a great job for ABC News and for us, WABC TV in New York. Diana, thank you so much.
So what is next for the 33 miners after they get a clean bill of health and begin their recovery? Some believe they will get movie and book offers. A newspaper in England is reporting that the miners have been given free trips to Greece from the Greek mining industry, free iPods from Apple's Steve Jobs, and free sushi for a year from a restaurant in Chile. Edison Pena, he is the 12th miner pulled to safety today, and the most depressed. He was given a free trip to Graceland by the Elvis Presley Enterprises. The 34-year-old is a huge fan of Elvis Presley and listened to his music to help him get through the very long days down under.
The images of this rescue, the images of the past 24 hours, those who bravely went down and those who so joyously came up, now seared into our collective memory banks. They are sights and sounds we will never forget.
They gave us a lesson of unity, of work in partnership, of faith, of hope. It has been a day that we will never, never forget.
Really takes your breath away. And then there was one, the last rescue worker waiting by himself in a mine shaft, a collapsed mine shaft that 24 hours ago was filled with 33 men desperate to get out. He's now waiting for the capsule to be lowered. He will be the last man out. It should be done within the half hour.
It's going to be really eerie being down there all by
yourself. Yeah, right. We want to go back to Chile for a second because the last rescue worker is getting into the capsule. In fact, he's in the capsule. He's got about a 15-minute ride. Let's watch him take off.
There he goes.
I guess the camera feed is going to stay on. Now, don't forget, he's got a camera inside, so we'll be able to, you'll see that for sure over the next couple of days. The last man remaining in this living hell, and you can hear the applause from up above as this little capsule, 21 inches wide, about a basketball hoop. Is that what you described it as, Lee?
Yes. Yeah.
A basketball hoop wide.
13 feet tall.
All the way up. NASA inspired, and that's disappeared. There is no one left inside the bottom of the collapsed Chilean mine, and that indeed is good news, and we salute and applaud those brave men and women who helped rescue those people and the miners. We'll be right back.
Well, that is the president of Chile right now speaking with Manuel Alejandro Gonzalez. He is the last rescuer who has emerged from the mine. He's been pulled out safely. He was the first one to go in yesterday. When he went in, I think all of Chile and really the world held their breath, not knowing what to expect. This is a video that was just taken just moments ago as he was pulled out of the mine.
The last man in what has been a 10-week ordeal and 24 hours of absolute drama. We thank you for sharing it with us. Nightline's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow.